Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to today's sharing of Harmonize to Energize. My name is Terry Matthews. I work here at the international headquarters of Jin Shin Jyutsu in Scottsdale, Arizona. And today it's my great pleasure to introduce to those of you that have never met her and those of you that have met her, the one and only Anita Wallaby Woo from New York.
I was going to say that.
Okay, Jerry. Well, you repeat it now. Stereo.
All right, I heard that I was put out there in Facebook as Anita Willoughby Wallaby Woo from New York City. And it was so exciting when Terry said to me just a few minutes ago, going live. So here we are. Thank you all for joining us today. And in preparing and trying to think in my busy life what I was going to present today, I just was inspired by talking about the importance of attitudes in Jin Shin Jyutsu. And I know many of you have come to some of these before, and you know about the safety energy locks, but today we'll focus on holding a finger. And the most important finger, the most important debilitating attitude for the human being, according to Jin Shin Jyutsu, is the attitude of fear. And we can simply hold our index finger for fear. Let me talk a little bit about the fear aspect, and I have a few slides. Here we go. Facing fear. I like to bring a little bit of humor. It's fun to co-host with Terry because he's all for the humor too. That British sense of humor. So we bring the US and British sense of humor together. But here we have facing fear. How do we face our own fear? And the woman is leaping over the obstacle. And she said, I used to have a fear of hurdles, but I got over it. Okay, so how do we get over our fear? In Jin Shin Jyutsu, we can do what we call jumper cable. And so simply let's jumper cable our index finger while I'm talking. So I was going to say close your eyes, but I want you to look at the next slide. These are the attitudes in Jin Shin Jyutsu. We say in Jin Shin Jyutsu, attitudes are what causes the disharmony. It's the first cause, the middle cause, and the last cause. It's not what happens in our life. It's not what we're born with. It's not how much money we have, how smart we are. It's none of that. It's our attitude about it. So no matter what, if we know that we are the best being that we can be, we will. We don't need to go to fear that we're not good enough. So while you're holding, and like Terry wanted to make sure that here we go, this is the pointer finger, so be careful about pointing it, but grab it. If someone points their finger at you, you can just grab it, but be careful. All right, so hold that finger. Fear will cause us to stop moving. The first movement in our life is breath. So when we have fear, we often go and we stop that first basic movement. So again, drop your shoulders. This time you can close your eyes. Let go. We are all allowed to be afraid. We're human beings in a sensual, feeling, emoting body. We get into trouble when we hold on to our emotions. So grabbing and harmonizing, jumper cabling by putting our hands on our index finger, we can start to get flow, excuse me, flow back into our bodies. So again, that's flow starting with the breath, the flow and the gentle rhythm of our breathing. So tune in. I just realized I was holding a little tension in my left shoulder. Drop your shoulders. Sometimes I need to move my neck around a little bit. I think when I'm breathing of a giant figure 8 that goes from my head to my coccyx. And I breathe above, the figure 8 above, and I also inhale into the figure 8 below, that lower circle. So play around with it. Which one do you want to do first? I generally go to the lower half of a figure of 8 and fill my abdomen with breath. Let's do a few focusing on the lower circle. Let's count to 9. That was the second one. And really fill up your abdominal cavity. And then exhale, let go. When you fill up your abdominal cavity, you are giving your abdominal organs a massage. And when you exhale, you are wringing them out. You're squeezing, revitalizing so that there's now more room for the breath to rush in and feed our abdominal organs. Nourish through breath. I'm up to about my 5th abdominal breath. The breath is the basic flow and the basic movement of life. If you're stuck in your life, you're stuck in an attitude, you're stuck in a place that you're not happy, whatever stuckness you have, if you start to have accumulations in your tissue that are stuck, you have weight gain, you have stuck energy, hold your index finger, start focusing on your breath. And now let's switch. That was the end of the first 9. Let's hold our other index finger. I'm going to hold my right index finger. And I'll start now thinking about breathing up into my chest cavity. So I breathe up into my chest cavity and I massage my lungs and my heart, and I move my diaphragm. I actually start low in my pelvis and send that breath up to fill upper part of the figure of eight. We have the gift of the lungs to help us breathe, but we also have a diaphragm. And the diaphragm is a muscle that separates the chest cavity from the abdominal cavity. The breath makes volume in our body. Make sure that you're breathing into the back of your body, the sides of your body, the sides of your chest. Many of us get very frontal oriented, but we're actually a rounded volume. We are a vessel filled with air, light, and water. Remember to empty out both the abdominal cavity, the chest cavity. Almost make a little curve to your spine. And then receive the breath. And the last time, bring it up to the chest. That was our second 9 conscious exhalations and inhalations. We'll move on to, now this is, I had fun with this slide, going to the emojis and finding expressions. So this fear one is, oh, I'm so afraid, and we turn blue. So the waters of life are blue, blue blackish, sometimes blue green, but we freeze the waters, and our fear has about freezing the muscles in our body, and all of the water and the breath and the air shuts us down. So today we have a gift from Jin Shin Jyutsu. It's in Self-Help Book 1. It's the long version or the long sequence to harmonize fear. I have found this incredibly powerful. The simple way is just to hold the index finger, but if we need a little bit more help for helping the fear, which encompasses us, we start with the thumb. And we'll start holding the thumb. Let's do it for the next 9 breaths. We'll hold the thumb for 3 breaths, then the index finger for 3 breaths, and then the little finger for 3 breaths. Let's start with our left hand, and then we'll repeat it again on our right. We'll hold the right thumb for 3 breaths, the right index for 3 breaths, and the right little finger for 3 breaths to help us harmonize our fears. It's the long sequence. It's going to other layers of energy to support our index finger. Okay. So let's close your eyes, holding your left thumb. Inhale, and now let's begin to inhale into our abdomen and pass it and expand our chest. And then exhale. Play with your breath. So while we're holding our thumb in Jin Shin Jyutsu, we're helping the attitude of worry. Let go of our worries so we don't have fears. And now for the next 3 conscious exhalations, let's go and hold our index finger on the same hand. 3 conscious exhalations. We're also giving our body, our total body and the abdomen and the thoracic cavity, this internal massage, and we're helping our spine, helping the gentle movement of the spine. So we're facing our fears head on when we hold our index finger. Bring the fears out in the open, look them in the eyes. Shine the flashlight on your fear. Bring light to any of your fears. My grandchildren love monsters because it excites them and gets them a little bit, just a little bit afraid, but not really. So we often take flashlights with us so we can bring the light into the dark corners. When we go into a tent or into a cave that we've made, and we bring a flashlight. So in our case, we can also bring our breath. Now, let's go to our little finger. Our little finger is when there's too much effort in our life and we're pretending to be something we're not. It burdens. So we need to be in the flow of life, so there is no effort. And the flow of life again starts with the breath. Breathe into any deep, dark corner of your body that feels tight. And that was the third set of 9 conscious exhalations. So let's switch hands, go to our right thumb to help our fear on the right side. 3 conscious exhalations and inhalations. And then let's move to our right index finger directly again to face that fear. Just say it to yourself, whatever fear you have, look at it, face it. And now for the little finger to help us if we have too much effort, if things are not in flow, we go directly to the little finger to release pretense and efforting. So if we release that, then our fear and our index finger can be helped. Then just exhale that last remnant of fear. Open your eyes. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Thank you for joining me in this adventure to help move fear out of our body through the simple way, through the longer sequence. I find this long sequence for any of the attitudes is particularly powerful. So thank you for joining me today. And I have one last slide. I will be offering a course August 13th through 15th, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it's all about our origins. So that in our culture, we're sort of afraid of both birth and death. And so confront those fears. I've had the privilege to have 2 children, and before I had my first child, I would say to my husband, when I go in labor, just hit me over the head so I don't have to be conscious. And yet, thank you, Terry. And yet, I was amazed that I faced my fear and I went through it totally naturally, and I was able to release my fear, and it was relatively effortless. Relatively, I said, because it's still a momentous journey, lots of ebbs and flows, but face your fears, face this whole thing about being born. I think being born can be traumatic and dying can be traumatic. So that's our big fears of living our life, is the way we come in and the way we go out prevent us sometimes from living our life. So this is a journey back into utero and looking at what is being established every month. And it really informs us, gives us a context of who we are and where we, in this particular moment in time and space that we chose to come into the universe, and we chose certain parents and we chose a certain environment. So it sort of gets you to become aware of how much of this creation is started before you're even born. And so it's knowing your roots, if you want to say. So again, I wanted to thank you all for coming, and you can sign up for the website on the Jin Shin Jyutsu website, for the seminar on the Jin Shin Jyutsu website, and I will turn it over to Terry.
Thank you, Anita. That was wonderful. It's so great when I don't have to do all the explaining. I can just jackass around in the background. But no, I hope everyone enjoyed that as much as I did. Interesting approach to the breath, which I don't think I'd experienced before, this figure of eight idea, something which I'll experiment with, and maybe some of you will. So Anita's class is on the web, as she said, and we'll have a quick look there now so you can all see. Upcoming, before we get to Anita, currently today, Organic Conversations with Sarah, Maria and Jill, the fourth class beginning today. This is an online study group, which is ongoing, and all the times and frequency are here, and you can register down there. You can purchase them in bundles. And then we come to Anita, 9 months in utero, beginning Friday the 13th.
Oh dear.
of August. I hasten to add, not March. And
13, is a great number.
Yeah, 13. That's all about reproduction, right? Harmonizing, love thy neighbor as thyself. It's a beautiful number. 9 months of creation and the basic rhythmic pulse of life. Wow.
It really informed. The study of the 9 months in utero has been so helpful to understand the whole structure of Jin Shin Jyutsu and the structure of our bodies. We are very organically and sort of cyclically created in a complete order and pattern. And there's so many orders and patterns that govern our lives. The more that we realize it, the less fear we have.
Yeah, for those of you that are interested in your origins and your genetic inheritance, there's a lot of research about ancestral heritage, skipping lineages, and all kinds of interesting facts coming out now.
Yes.
This is going to be an interesting window for those of you that are interested in this whole subject matter. And there you have the dates: Friday, August 13th to Sunday, August the 15th. The times are here. There's going to be breaks, and then it includes the 3 months of online replay. Your organizers, Deanna Nikado and Justine McClure, email and phone there if you want to speak to them a little bit more about it. Register today here. And then if there's any classes that you have missed or would like to see again, you can go to any of these links here to see well, both the upcoming and the past webinars in different languages here, Spanish webinars, upcoming classes, online class replays, and way back when we did Zoom study group replays. It's all here for you. So there's great opportunities, a lot of exciting and interesting courses coming up, and we invite you to get involved and participate.
And now know myself. Come and learn about yourself, and if you understand yourself, you can understand the universe and each other, the person across the table.
Yeah, as above, so below, micro, macro.
Yes.
We are one, to reiterate a well-known phrase. And I did mention last week, and I'll just expand on it a little bit now, I have got the go-ahead to have another Harmonize to Energize, and this time it's going to be on a Wednesday, same times, 2 o'clock New York time, 11 o'clock Arizona time. And we're going to be inviting people, and I'll invite you all now to email moi on info@jsjinc.net, or is it com?
.net.
No, I think it's com, actually.
Oh, it's com?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Info, okay, yes.
Yeah, info@jsjinc.com is where, you can email me, and you can discuss the possibility or show me any stories, write down any stories that you have that really inspired you to continue your study with Jin Shin Jyutsu, maybe working with another person or persons or animals that really inspired you and said, wow, this really worked for me and for this person, whatever. And we'll bring you on. You'd have to learn just a little bit about Webinar Jam, where we present. I'll bring you on a couple of days before, and I'll talk you through it. And then on the Wednesday, you can come on and you can share your inspiration with everybody. And I'm inviting from all over the world. Hopefully the time zone works for you. And just send me your inspiring story, and I'll look through them. And, I can't promise who's going to be on at what date. Just send us, and we'll work it all out, and we'll let you know. And then we'll continue that storytelling, if you like, and you'll begin to connect with lots of different aspects of Jin Shin and ways of approaching different projects, perhaps, that you hadn't thought of before. I mean, we can learn from one another. And I've invited everybody, so that includes the instructors as well, and maybe some of those, when they're not so busy, will join us too, and they've got lots of stories. And I'm hoping that I'll get some of the Burmeister family, David and Martha, people that knew Mary very well. I mean, most of the instructors knew Mary very well, and they'll be able to relate some of their stories. So thank you again, Anita. And again, if you're interested in a forthcoming webinar, 3 days, 9 months in utero, don't hesitate, sign up. And I'm sure that's going to be a very fascinating journey. She'll take you on. Don't you love her slides? I mean, they're so colorful, so imaginative. I mean, and that helps. That helps the learning process.
That's part of teaching online I've been exploring, is the slides and the images that you're able to present.
Yeah. And so just a quick reminder, replay will be available when Ali gets to it within 24 to 48 hours. He's always there for me, and he'll get that replay up on YouTube. So if you missed it today, you can go and click on the link in YouTube for today. And I thank you again. Stay safe, everybody. There's still a fair amount of chaos in the world, but we're here to learn to harmonize and balance. And so carry on holding those fingers and, boosting your immune system. And fear, as Mary said, can also stand for false evidence appearing real. There's a lot of information out there. Be discerning as much as you can. And, if it gets all too much and overwhelming, so many different opinions, breathe out. to
Exhale.
find your center
So,
and take it from there. Flow with it. All
bye.
right, everybody. Enough already, Terry.
From New York.
Yeah. Thank you, Anita.
Bye.
It was great. Really appreciate it. Bye, everybody. See you next Friday. Oh, and the story time is going to be starting on August the 11th. Here we go. I'm really going now.